might actually make me look bad. But before we put simPRO in place, I didn't have a clue.
Again, it's about getting the brand awareness into the market. Like all our markets, so LinkedIn, like any other tool or social media tool, is a global tool.
Our business and what we do as a business, even now with the smart home installation stuff and all the training, is literally built off the back of social media.
I think for us, we're very passionate about our brand. So we've got brand ambassadors in all our team members. They want to share the good stuff that we're doing. And simPRO is a great story.
So that was the beginnings, and it's always been grounded in the client base that we serve. It started in electrical, but expanded into plumbing and HVAC, etc. But it's come from that same space.
Because when you've got a business, whether it be a business that's a one-man band, they've got 5 members of staff, they've got 5,000 members of staff, I don't really care. I like to see people win and make money.
1,500
users.
Yeah, big growth. Testament to the team, testament to the product.
Hi guys, Rich from Out of Smart. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today I'm joined by the team at simPRO at their offices down in Cambridgeshire in the UK. Not everyone sat around the table is based in the UK though, so we're going to go around and introduce those. We're actually joined today by the CEO simPRO, we're joined by the Global Revenue Officer simPRO, and we're joined by the Global Head of Partnerships. So guys, we'll start with you, Sean. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, look, thank you for having me on. My name's Sean Diljore. I'm CEO for simPRO. Based out of Australia, which you can probably tell from my accent.
Yeah.
But spent a lot of my time, in a non-COVID year, in all the offices we have, both in the US and the UK.
Awesome. And you've been on a bit of a road trip over the last couple of days. Well, the last couple of weeks, sorry.
We have.
3 weeks.
With the borders opening again, we've been into the US and spent time with our staff there, and obviously now landed here on Monday and spending the week with all our staff here in the UK, which has been really good.
Back over to Australia. On to you, Matt.
I'm Matt. I'm the Global Head of Partnerships for simPRO, based in the UK, but my team are across the globe. We engage with potential partners who want to introduce simPRO to their end clients. Team in the UK, fairly new, but progressive, picked up some really good partnerships and an extension of the sales team, definitely. And this year's a big year for us as we roll out into the different markets.
Awesome. Ricky, my man.
Oh, man.
That man. What do we do for simPRO?
Thanks for having me first, Richie. Great to be on the show. I'm the CRO for the business. Look after all the sales functions. So that's where the revenue piece comes in from. So partner, inside sales, outside sales. So, it's a big expanding team. We've got people everywhere now, dotted around everywhere. So for us, it's about running all the business functions within the same direction and at a pace that we can keep up with our customers.
I would say you actually are keeping the marketing team on their toes too.
A little bit.
I like to think I know a little bit about social media and about working LinkedIn. Ricky is absolutely the man on LinkedIn. Partial to a LinkedIn post.
Absolutely, mate. Love it.
Absolutely.
Try and pick up pieces from you too. But again, it's about getting the brand awareness into the market. Like all our markets, so LinkedIn, like any other tool or social media tool, is a global tool, which suits our business and our function. And it's also an opportunity to kind of really bring out you and the real you in the space where people don't know you, especially for the last couple of years. It's been a great opportunity to run around in the last couple of weeks and meet a lot of our people, but we haven't been able to do so. So not just them, but our partners, our customers, and it kind of just gives you a view into who you are, what your values are, and what you stand for. So to me, it's just it's an extension of you.
No, it's very good. Obviously, there's no kind of secret that our business and what we do as a business, even now with the smart home installation stuff and all the training, is literally built off the back of social media. And it's weird, like even meeting you today for the first time in person, even with the few interactions online. And again, because you do portray a lot of your personality stuff on there and your value, that does all come across. So it is a little bit weird because we've obviously had this COVID for the last couple of years. Everything's been kind of forced to work remote. But for you guys, that probably works quite well. and if it was maybe Flexi, has been adopted a lot more moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, we're very passionate about our brand. So we've got brand ambassadors in all our team members. They want to share the good stuff that we're doing. And, simPRO is a great story. So you're right, before COVID. And during COVID, it was like, how do we get that content out? So, following things like you do, Rich, and the fellowship that you've got, kind of piggyback off the back of that and celebrate it.
Yeah. And, with COVID, really, because we actually only implemented simPRO. Well, I say it only, feels like it'd be 2 and a bit years ago now, just as kind of COVID was starting to kick off. And so we did our training during then. And obviously we used simPRO as a business anyway, before we then went on to become a partner with yourselves because of our training network. And we did what was the last question is more with actually training people and dealing with people and the whole sales function around the business, with it being virtual and doing it through Google Meets and all the rest of it, and operating the business in that way.
Yeah, how did you find that, doing the training online?
Well, ultimately, you're going to work on software, aren't you? So you are working on the software. So I would feel it actually worked fine. Could probably got through some stuff a little bit faster, but the way that you broke the sessions down and where the scheduling team set up the sessions, I found there were nice chunks, really. And then obviously, because it's not just like with the software, especially on the kind of investment we've got in it, it's not like, oh, you got the software bank, see you later, see you bye. Because we had one of our guys over a couple of weeks ago who came over for an additional session just to knit things up. Yeah. Well, that's obviously where simPRO's at now. Sean, how did it all start?
Look, we've been going for 18 years now from memory, and we came out of industry. So an electrician had this built by a young kid just coming out of university, sat in his garage, Vaughan and Steve, and they built simPRO from there. And it was really to run his electrical contracting business. So that was the beginnings, and it's always been grounded in the client base that we serve. It started in electrical, but expanded into plumbing and HVAC, etc. But it's come from that same space, right? From working with contractors to build it out. So starting back in Brisbane all the way back, 18 years ago when Steve and Vaughan kicked it off to where we are now. For us as a business, it's just been that standard growth pattern. We built ourselves out in Australia, expanded into the UK about 6 or 7 years ago from memory, and it was a small operation. We were laughing before about 6 years ago we had 60 clients.
Literally just before we started, and you've got how many now, Matt, in the UK? 1,500 users.
Yeah, big growth. Yeah, big growth. Testament to the team, testament to the product.
Yeah.
So from a little team, I've been here 7 years this year. There's about 4 or 5 of us in the UK back then, to now 150, with a view probably to be about 160, 200 at the end of this year.
Yeah, because that would be the thing I would notice from the outside. Obviously, I use it as software, but I'm interested behind the business and the kind of the business processes and the people at the different functions and stuff. And I would, obviously, because you're operating on a global platform anyway, but at the minute, it just feels like simPRO is just exploding. But, that's the way I feel the growth is at the minute. It's an explosive growth, which must come with its challenges anyway. But challenges, but you've obviously got the staff. You've got find additional staff, doing other things to keep them happy, but you've just got huge investment on you to help grow that further and invest in other things.
Yeah, correct. We raised further capital last year, right in the middle of a pandemic, which was fun, from K1. So they put in a huge amount of capital for exactly that. It's to help fuel our growth, to allow us to expand, deeper into the countries that we're in and into new territories if we choose to do so. And that's the plan for this year. We're putting a lot of bodies on in every country. So I think we'll probably breach 200 people in the UK by the end of this year, which is a pretty good sized business for a software company.
No, definitely. Especially when it's not its main market as well. It's just one of its satellite offices.
Yeah. And look, I guess to me, I don't look at them as satellite offices anymore. Like, we've built them out to the point where, this is a strong business that stands on its own 2 feet. It's got, pretty much all the business units that all of our operations hold. And, it's a really tightly run, well-operated business. So it needs to be that to service 1,500 plus clients that's growing at a rapid rate. Like, it needs to be a solid business unit that people can rely on if they're buying our software.
Yeah. I suppose you guys then, with that, you work together all the time. Is it remotely? Do you guys collaborate on things?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, we're a software technology business, so we meet a lot, probably too much, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges of being remote, isn't it? And making sure that being very inclusive, and we have a very close knit community and culture, and it's a communication piece. Depending on which country you're in, we want to make sure that people are involved. So a lot of online meetings, but to the point, not just for the sake of it. We're fairly blunt and fairly honest, and we're all driving for the same goal.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, we didn't really do much virtual meetings and stuff before COVID as a business, but so because our business operates literally around the full UK, so we cover the full of England really. So when we're here, there, and everywhere all the time, so sometimes I'd be driving 3-4 hours for a meeting, and then obviously COVID hit, and it's like just jump on Teams.
Yeah,
it's for me. It's been like love it.
Same.
So rather than wasting on that, well, I say wasting the time, but going out for these meetings, you're driving 4 hours for a 15-hour meeting. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the world's different now.
Jump on Teams and Teams.
Everyone's more receptive to seeing software and meeting online. Before COVID, it was very face to face. But one of our strengths is that we like to go on site. We like to go and meet people and show the product and train the product. But the transition to online was fairly seamless to us because we've been doing it for so long.
I think it's the same as the way we're looking at it. Internal resourcing. It's about balance. When we can get on site and it makes sense, we do so. When you can do it really effectively online, you can do so as well. There's no change to the key for us being we want to make sure we understand the person we're selling the software to. And what we're doing makes sense. That the way we install it makes sense. And if you can do that online, then I can't see the harm in driving this stuff online.
Exactly that.
If it needs someone to get out there and spend a bit of time with the customer face to face and really get their head around it, then we should be doing that too. And I think we've got a good balance at the moment of making that work.
I'd agree. Finding that balance is definitely the way to move forward, and obviously do it then with the step throughout. So no, that's really good. Ricky, so in terms of what you do for the business, can you tell me a little bit more in depth about that?
Yeah, sure, mate. So, Richie, for us, it's really just kind of enhancing that customer journey. So, as you mentioned earlier, we work very closely with marketing teams. So, they're kind of doing the demand generation at the top of the funnel, so to speak. And then that's from there on, sales team really kick in and then kind of make sure they map out what the journey looks like for a customer. That's really important. So setting those expectations, working very closely with them throughout the journey piece, and also then alongside, Matt and what he's trying to do with the partners. So it's for us, it's the push and pull tactic all the way through within the market space, right? We want to make sure the outcome for the business is that they're more efficient by the time they've deployed simPRO. So for us, it's just really, we're in the reverse engineering mode by the time customers or prospect at that point is coming to us.
Awesome. And I suppose looking at it for me because I've got, like I mentioned, two sides to this, because we do use it as a business, but then because I do also recommend the software to our partners. So looking at it from a tradesman's point of view, so obviously you cover electrical, plumbing, gas and heating, HVAC, your general construction kind of service trades. Would I be right? That's the markets we're in. I mean, for us as a business, like we've, again, like you guys, definitely not on the scale of you guys, but with the whole COVID situation over the last couple of years, we have grown a lot over the last couple of years in both terms of team members and revenue. And I don't honestly think we obviously started doing the training, like I said before, on simPRO at the beginning of the pandemic. And I genuinely think, like now I'm obviously out on the road doing these podcasts and stuff, but I know our designers can price the jobs, which are all very, very complex. But because of how simPRO works with the catalogs and the pre-builds and the way that the jobs come together, it gets to a point now where we've got our team quoting £300,000-400,000 projects, and I don't even review them because I have that much confidence in the software. Danny can just turn them out, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, send it," and it's just like that. So, but to get it to that point, obviously for us as a business, and this is then looking at it from the other side of the coin when we're looking at recommending it to partners, I would say it's serious business management, isn't it? It's not quick happy download on the phone. It's going to need training and implementation.
Yeah, you're right. And you do a really good job, Rich, at setting that expectation about, the pain they're going to go through to put simPRO in, and as we do, on a 30-day rolling contract, we have to work hard for that. So you're right, though. We don't want to come in and just throw it on a desk and switch it on. And again, you're testament to that, the reviews that we've had in your business of using the software. As your team have grown, more people need training on that software. But you've taken it with conviction, and that's the important thing. You've got to make it work.
Yeah, because before we're using lots of different stuff, and obviously the point of using something like simPRO is it's tying that all together. And then once it's tied together, I mean, for me as a business owner, running a construction business, I can go in there, I can see where our quotes are at, where our jobs are at, what's closed, what's been invoiced. Obviously, the invoicing side of things then syncs back to QuickBooks. So it all does all the QuickBooks side of things for tax and VAT and all the rest of it. But in terms of our project, my engineers' timesheets are all done through it. I can see where my jobs are at. Our jobs taking us longer than they should be. Are we getting them done faster? We can then run reports on the BI reporting. Have we got certain clients that are maybe costing us more than they should do because they're becoming a nuisance? But that's the kind of transparency and level of business management that something like simPRO will give you. Even that thing's down to our stock. So if I ever needed to know how much stock I've got across the business, literally bang, report, click, done. And like say, I don't know where else at the minute, we've got about £500,000 worth of stock. But click, bang, done. Gives us a report and we know it's good to go. So all that kind of stuff's absolutely mint. And we said before, you've got 1,500 partners in the UK. Obviously, we're one of those. But I've been thinking, so just for me to explain for the people watching what the whole partner thing is about. Obviously, I use simPRO in my business anyway. Obviously, sometimes people work as a business consultant. Obviously, what we do, the training academy, but it actually works very easily for me to be able to recommend the software. Because obviously, sometimes you see people on social media recommending products that are getting paid for it, but they don't actually use the product. So for me, I use simPRO, so it's not as if I'm saying to people, it's great. It's honestly a really good software, and then again, it's crap. Literally, I run my business with it. We're doing like 3-4 million turnover this year using this software. I honestly couldn't do it without it. So with our business model, we have we do the designs, we plan projects, but then we bring in partners, which effectively like subcontractors that we've trained at our in-house training academy. So we then get them to do our projects for us. Now, it is much easier if those contractors are also using simPRO. So since the start of the pandemic, we have trained about 150 partners to come work with us, and we've got some more training coming up soon. But it really gets me with it. It's not even people abroad in America, isn't it? So I think it was twice last week I messaged you where people in America had reached out to me because of our online presence and was like, I'll tell them about simPRO. And then you guys just align the stars, put me in touch with somebody locally. I've got a contact with Matt. Matt will then put them into somebody in America. And then bang, next thing, they've got a demo the next day in a different time zone.
But you're advising them. That's, you're sponsoring it, you're influencing it, but they're coming to you for the real story, aren't they? They could say, well, how do you use it? So and the home automation, kind of smart home, kind of exploded over the last couple of years.
100%,
I know you and I did a webinar about a year ago, and the influx of businesses all recognized they needed a system, or recognized they needed a foundation, and they're like, well, where do I go? But actually, because they're, fanboying, and they follow you, and they see how you use it, it's not bullshit. They're asking you, how was your experience? How was your experience? So we were, we were grateful for that exposure, and as a result, we've had lots of similar businesses growing like you, that have recognized the foundation and now using simPRO.
Various sizes. Because as soon as I got it implemented, Matt had kind of clocked onto my LinkedIn, Instagram kind of social presence. You must have just had us on your radar because obviously I'd not really had a contact with you at that point. So we've been working with someone else, and Matt reached out to me and was like, so, do you want to look at simPRO in a different avenue? And then, but I did, because we had that there. We were growing the partner network, and it was a natural fit. We're using this job management software to manage these guys. Hang on a minute. If they were actually using this software as well, it's going to work really well. Yeah,
we've replicated the success of a relationship we've got in Australia, the Electrician Success Academy. That's a training academy, very similar to like you do, where it's a forum, it's a community, and they're acquiring new members and people in their academy every week. Again, they're looking to them to advise them of which systems to use.
No, that's awesome. And obviously, saying we have 1,500 people, looking back at my numbers, so that's probably 100 of those, isn't it? I reckon, all in.
Yeah, there were significant numbers came from those webinars. Yeah, definitely. And that was interesting, that content. I think the first session that we had, it wasn't ramming simPRO down the throat or ramming Art of Smart down the throat. It was about real life experience and how do you do it, and what simPRO is about, and what you're about. I think people got that, and I think because of people following you and your social, they wanted to emulate and aspire to what you have. And actually, part of that foundation piece is the software first.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do we get the software right? How does simPRO work to continue building this beast? Do you outsource the development of it, or do you have an internal team that do that?
Yeah, no, we got a big internal part of obviously what you raise money for is to continue to build those teams out. We got almost 100 developers now.
Right.
We've got developers starting to appear in other countries as we build it out and we scale our businesses. So, for us, I think we've always been pretty keen to do mostly internal software. We do outsource like co-generation projects to work with other people and get collaboration and stuff. But a lot of what we do, we build internally.
Awesome. Or buy people. I saw recently did you buy a couple of other companies that may use some of their features?
100%. And I guess, look, if you think about the ecosystem of trade contracting landscape, it's big. And so, we bought ClockShark, which is primarily a timesheeting business, but focused around trade contractors. So it's a nice fit for us. It can deepen our ability to do timesheeting. And we'll keep looking for other opportunities and things that the market's telling us, our client base is telling us they'd like to see. The thing is to go find a nice piece of software that fits what our clients are telling us they want to see, and we'll go buy it.
You keep changing it. No, because one of the really cool features on the simPRO when you're actually logged in on the dashboard is you've got like a little updates tab, and it will say, like new features, and that's obviously constantly tweaking, developing. You've got other things that will work into it, such as the data feed or the new takeoffs, how takeoff works and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's one of our biggest differentiators is everything you see in the software has come from our client base.
Mm-hmm.
It's not us telling our clients this is what you need.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking for it. So we write it and then we publish it. And release
the
it free of
features.
charge in the roadmap. That transparency is rare to be able to do that. And our feature set is comprehensive because it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the feature requests coming through from our client base are really interesting. Stuff we'd never normally think about.
And that's interesting. And this is sometimes what I tell, sometimes even maybe smaller businesses, maybe 1-2 man bands, maybe even when I look at myself, even now with the team members we've got, I know I'm not using 100% of simPRO. And that's not because I don't want to, it's too complicated, it's because at the minute some of those features I don't actually need.
Yep.
And the beauty is, and this is why we went all in on simPRO, because when I was looking, there are a lot, it's hard. Do you know, it's been one of the hardest things I've done as a business to find a platform, because there's lots of apps, there's lots of softwares you can get, there's lots of people that are doing it. And again, there is another one at the minute, again, they seem to be like explosive growth, but I looked at it and I looked at it in depth. It's got nowhere near the amount of features that simPRO has. And when people are like kind of comparing apples and oranges, but it's not. Like if you actually go under the surface with it, and I did trials with 2 or 3 of these other ones just to try and see. And then like when I was finding some stuff at simPRO, and I'm like, yep, does that with Stephen. I had my initial chat with him. He was like, yep, does that. Yep, does that. Yep, does that. And then even when Dan came over, we've been using simPRO 2 years. Dan came over the other week and he was like, right, so we're doing this, and now we'll add these elements on and these layers of, because my business is expanding and we need these harder things, like say, because of coronavirus and stuff, we're holding a lot of stock at the minute.
Yeah.
So we'll hold £500,000 worth of AV equipment in stock at any one time. Now, naturally, what happens is when you've got somebody running a warehouse, your purchase orders go in. What would happen is my purchasing team are just going to go in, bang, buy it. You need to have a decent sized warehouse to house that amount of stuff. Now, what we've got is literally everything in, and this is how deep simPRO can go with the stock side of things. We have behind all the items, all the minimum values that we should have in stock. We even have down to which shelf in the warehouse or which tub they're stored in. And we've gone quite detailed with that. So we'll have high value store, shelf 3, row 4, bin 2, to that kind of level of detail. But then now when the job goes forward, rather than my purchasing team buying that all again, even though I've got tens of £1,000s worth of that equipment sat on the shelf collecting dust, and I'm like, come on, guys. Literally sometimes I'll say to my warehouse manager, come on, Paul. But then Dan was like, right, well, because again, listen, analyze what issues you're having. And they were like, right, cool. So we'll set this up, bang, 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 there's a picking list.
Yeah.
I was like, it came up, I was like, wow, that is like, it literally will pull him a report. I mean, I knew you could allocate the stock, yeah? And the stock allocation is fine, but it's them finding it. You know,
Yeah.
And it's like, bang, pull this report off. There's a customer report you can do. He'll give your warehouse guy a picking slip of all those locations. So yeah. And for me, with you paying that cost, it's it's weird. It's one of the costs in my business every month that I don't mind paying. I know that sounds like absolutely cheesy as hell, but it isn't, because what it's allowed me to do, and I know like before, even like internally within my business, people are ringing me up, what have you done with this? What have you done with this? What are you doing with this job? Where's this job at? What's happening with this? Where's this at? I've got clients. Listen, look in simPRO. Like, and that's where people have got to now, where, you know, it's not even a phone call to me. It's like, oh, let's have a quick look on the system first. Because now I'm busy. They can do it through simPRO. It gives me that level of transparency. For the first time, I'm just going to share this, might actually make me look bad, but before we put simPRO in place, I didn't have a clue. And again, even like on the training side of things, for me, it's actually a wake-up call implementing simPRO, you know, because most of these people who are tradesmen, the tradesmen, right? We're not accountants.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like, I like to think I'm pretty tech-savvy and pretty good businessman and all the rest of it. My numbers were way off.
Right.
You know, like even what I should be charging my guys out at. And then when you actually get you sit down properly, because you've got a very, very better than my accountant for working out what your overhead costs. Like your true overhead, because people don't understand. But you've got a template that you give to guys when they're doing implementation onboarding.
Yep, that's correct.
To work out their true overhead figure. And you do that and you go, shit.
It's a great exercise, that.
And it is. And then setting that up within simPRO. So then what simPRO do on your jobs is it will then work out truly what you're making. You know, you're obviously aiming to make a certain net profit. But then as the job goes on, it will actually like live accountant the job for you. So if you're ordering materials or if guys are booking hours to the job, that will update it on the summary page and we know exactly where the job's at. And then when you're finishing jobs, you know, I didn't make any money on that job, or fucking hell, that one we've done very well. We need to be targeting
More of that.
even more of that. We need to be doing more of these kind of jobs because they're making us loads of profit, and focusing the business around that. And I think it is a wake-up call for people.
Yeah, it is. I think you're a good example, Rich, of the entrepreneurial guy doing well, wants to do better. He needs a system. Mm-hmm. That's it. And we're in front of that every single day. It's not other softwares. It's not legacy systems. It's spreadsheets. It's chaos. It's silos of information.
It's spreadsheets and invoicing software. It's bits of paper. It's a bit of everything. It's all over the shop. You've got lads texting you their hours and you're then trying to work out into a payroll, and it's nightmare.
But this part to me is the part I love the most, right? The true job costing, having a better idea of, you know, whether you're making money or not. The amount of people I worked with before simPRO, you know, on the contracting side that, you know, had turnovers of $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 million, but weren't making any money. Mm-hmm. And it's only when you systemize this stuff and really start mapping out which jobs are making you money, especially when, you know, I remember going through the GFC when that happened, and this stuff became really important because it was the difference between, you know, survival and growth and just treading water or not surviving. And, you know, so for me, I know we got lots of fancy features and other stuff that we add. The basic stuff we started around, the costing it out and mapping up, still the bit I love the best.
No, 100%. And that for me, which is a business owner, because I've gone from because the business obviously just started with just me. I've been from being originally an electrician before I moved into the fancy smart homes and home cinema stuff. I'm an electrician, you know, I'm fitting sockets, doing lights, whatever. And then we moved into the industry, moved into now, and I'm looking at things differently, again, because I have to, because I'm, as a business owner, so if it was just me, and things aren't working out that month, it's not working out that month, whatever, you know, I'll have a couple of days off. Like, literally, I'm responsible for a full team of people now. So it's not as if, and again, sometimes people when they go self-employed, it is a little bit of a passion project, you know, because they enjoy doing it. You know, they've maybe broke out the rat race, or maybe broke out their office job, they want to do something different, and they'll do that. But then obviously when you go in a team and responsible for people, you can't do that. You literally can't do that. Like, literally responsible for people, and it's your job to make sure people can pay the families at the end of the month, all that kind of stuff, pay the bills, mortgage, whatever. And then obviously as a business making money, because at first, I mean, this is what I feel as self-employed guys will go on the journey. Like, at first, you're not really even bothered. Like, literally making money doesn't even really come into it. Like, she's like living the dream. living the dream only lasts you so long.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
and you need, there's the living the dream, but living the dream and making sure you can keep living the dream for a long time, which is kind of what we've gone through the last couple of years. And again, with how simPRO's adapted, grown, allowed us to keep growing that within the business has been mega. So, like, yeah, unbelievably
great.
good. Yeah.
You threw in a cheesy line before, Rich. Sorry to jump in here.
No,
but,
jump in.
Single source of truth. We often speak about it, and that's what simPRO does. So going back to what Matt had highlighted before, what Sean was saying, as I like to call it, all roads lead to simPRO, even in a trade business. The fact you're picking up leads all the way through quoting, invoicing, then running your reports, that's allowing you to make wise decisions, right? So therefore, you no longer have to do that mate's mate job, which you know you shouldn't do anyway in the first place because you know it's going to cost you. But now you've got visibility because you've done 10 of those and you're like, every time I do it, I'm not only going to make money.
Costing me to do that
It's costing me to do my, and then I'm not doing the job I should be doing. So I've got my good guys, or good team members working on a job that's actually just going to drain more resources. So that's what that does, right? And I think one thing we've often seen common in all our customer base is they grow. And they grow why? Because then they run their business, their appetite for risk just grows because they can see what I'm going to do, how much stock should I hold on to, right? Where should I make some investment into procurement, catalogs and all of that stuff? Should I bulk purchase? Should I buy against a job? Whatever. And then estimation, everything gets closer and closer. Before you know it, you're running large projects. Then you're doing the maintenance part. And the good part of it is you can just keep running it, right? You don't have to switch from one system to another because we cover all the workflows. So that's the one thing. And then going back to what you were saying earlier, the way we keep up with the pace, we're on a rapid release cycle. Right, so every 2 weeks, believe it or not, every 2 weeks, there's a new release. There may not be a major upgrade or like a big feature.
Little changes.
It's changes.
Improvements.
It's changes. It's you may be saying something, and Richard may go, "Hey, Matt," instead of just spitting it to Matt, if you just put it on ideas portal, it will get picked up by one of our team members, and before you know it, will be in the system. So that's how we like to keep up. We're in tune with our customers. We're in tune with our prospects. We're in tune with the market. So being a market leader comes with responsibility, right?
But you've obviously become a market leader by doing the best thing to do in a business, which is just listen.
Yeah.
What do you want? We'll do it. We'll do it. And again, that's gone on to the obviously monthly cost of simPRO, and you said it's a monthly license model. But again, that's why I don't mind it being a monthly license model, because you're paying an ongoing fee. Like you've said a few times, it's a 30-day rolling contract. So if I did, for whatever reason, think I don't want this anymore, I'm not only tied in. However, I can't ever foresee us getting to that point in our business where we go, either we've hit the limit, we've hit the roof, this is missing. It's missing a major element, which is going to stop me running our jobs. There's not a ceiling. And because obviously we're paying, for you as a business, I'm paying an ongoing cost, so you can continue to grow the business,
Absolutely.
Because I have a thing for me, and I probably work very different to most people I've ever worked with, because like I like to see other people winning. That's like a big thing for me. Like, and even that's people who are selling me stuff, because when you've got a business, whether it be a business that's a one-man band, they've got 5 members of staff, they've got 5,000 members of staff, I don't really care. I like to see people win and make money, whether that be whoever it is, because then I know they're going to continue to grow and develop stuff. Their stuff's going to get better, and everything comes back full circle. And that works really well. So, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. So obviously having lots of staff, taking on lots of new staff, wanting to look after your existing staff, are there anything you are doing as a CEO to kind of, why would somebody want to come work at simPRO?
Oh, look, that's a really good question. I think, when the pandemic hit and we shifted obviously to having more flexible working where people work from home, there's been a plenty written in papers and podcasts of what the future of work looks like. And so for my team, we took a bunch of feedback from all of our staff. We had heated debates and discussions at town halls and firesides about our staff's view on what they think the future of work should look like. Ricky, myself, and the rest of our team have spent half a year building what I guess we thought the future of work would be. And I think we got to a reasonable place. We launched what we're calling Flex 4 on Valentine's Day, which basically is a mixture of a 4-day work week for our staff, but one built more around flexibility. So it's not necessarily having 4 days that you work every week. It's giving people the ability to be treated like adults and build a work environment that works for them. So for someone like myself, I generally go home at 2:00 and pick my kids up from school every day. And then I go back to work that evening and do the rest of what I need to do. Some of our staff are doing things like that. Some are working a full just 4-day work week and getting 3 days in which to rest and recover and mentally rebuild themselves ready for the next week. So for us, we've moved away from being, I guess, a time-based business where all you're looking at is whose bum's on a seat to being more outcome-driven. As long as what the outcome is that you need to do as a individual in our business is achieved, then we're pretty happy to back you into building a work environment and structure that fits you and your loved ones. And I think that's going to go a long way for us as continuing to be an employer of choice and having the right work environment for our people to grow but have good lives, right? Happy people who love what they're doing are a hell of a lot more successful and better employees than people who are unhappy and not enjoying the things they do. It's culturally being a huge part of what we've always stood behind, right? Have fun, be honest, love what you do, love the people you work with, love our customer base. If you can tick those 3 things off, this is the right place for you. And if you can't, our job should be to find you somewhere where you can get those 3 things. You spend a lot of time at work, there's no point being unhappy.
100%. Yeah, not 100%. And it kind of doesn't, we're not dropping 4-day work week just yet. Doesn't really work for us, but how would that work? I mean, media guys are just looking at me. I mean, technically could. I mean, Cam, what it does, he just comes in on Sunday instead, innit? And you have days off through the week because it works for him, works for what he wants to do, works for around my schedule to get what me and him need to get done on a Sunday. But I try and encourage them all to do it, is have some kind of flexibility. Like, granted, in a business, you have kind of those core hours where things need to work. But like I said, so like this week when we're doing podcasts, we'll do a bit more this week. Actively pushing them, take more time out. Like, don't book a day's holiday because you then burn out in a month's time.
Yep.
Just take time off. I have like a thing with people is like, just be fair with me, I'll be fair with you. Like 10 times more. Like if you're doing your thing, you're happy doing your job. Like even like, I don't know, it's daft things, but you've got like a nice office seat, you've got a ping pong, your refreshments, you've got a little drinks fridge, stupid things like that. Like what we've done at the office, I've spent a lot of my money on my office and even on the stuff that the staff have there. So it's a nice place for them to work, so it's
Important.
when they want to do. And then I spent all that money on the office.
Nice.
And then a lot of them work from home 4 days a week. but it works for them. Yeah, it works for them. And that's ultimately more important. I'm not bothered about them, like you say, the bums on the seats coming to the office. Our designers work from home.
Yeah.
And they only come in on Monday to get them out of the house and a bit of social interaction, that kind of stuff. They could work from home 5 days a week for me and it still continue to work well for us.
Yeah, I've made sure people have to come to the office a couple of times if they're close to one, purely for that social interaction part. But the reality is, our view is if we get out of the way and let them build an environment that works for their team and for them as individuals, and all of them have worked together as a team to make sure that they're not losing that team interaction, they're still spending time with each other, but they've, other than that, built out a way to work where they're getting the personal outcome they need from being at work, and the business is getting the business outcome. And that's, we've got the chefs and all that sort of stuff, table tennis, and all that stuff is great, and I love it, and we're not going to get rid of it. But when we think about culture, we think more about, the deeper stuff than just like a table tennis game or whatever it is. It's, we're building an environment that people can thrive in and they're happy in, and that's what we're working to do.
Awesome. How many staff do you have globally?
We'd be, including the acquisition, we'd be above 500 people.
Awesome.
And growing very fast. So, makes all that stuff more important,
I
right?
literally seen like one of your posts on LinkedIn recently, LinkedIn King over there in the corner. And it was like, literally, we're hiring about 80 roles this year. I was like, jeez.
That's just in sales. So I think we'll be close to 700 by year in Richie, and we are running pretty hard in sales. So a lot of focus is, of course, a sales machine can take off, which it already is. Like, we believe 2022 is our year, right? We all think that going into any year, but like obviously with all the challenges we've had last couple of years, we've thrived. Like, same with you and same with a lot of our trade customers, they've thrived. So we feel like this year is the year for us. So a lot of growth's underway in terms of product, in terms of functionality that sits behind all of the, the ecosystem stuff that Sean's spoken about. And really it's just capitalize on everything that we've now built up. So it's been around for 20 years. So we want to make sure that, we pass on the secret sauce to as many customers and prospects we can in our all the geos that we run in. So pretty excited as to what's to come. And I guess, I was going to ask you the same. That's what's in front of us for this year. But how about you? What's the next 12 months looking like for you?
I mean, without going down the cliche too, feel the same because I hate to say it, but obviously the whole COVID thing's been great for us. It has. It's literally been the best thing that could have happened to the business. It's tripled in size, we've tripled in turnover, we've obviously got simPRO. We've then obviously grown the partner network. So we've now got literally, I mean, our partner network map is absolutely mental. If you look at it on a map, it's just blue dots literally in every corner of the UK you could imagine. In fact, Cam, go on the website and pull it up, and I'll reference it back in a sec. He'll pull that up, and it's mental to actually see it like that. But we've got guys all over the country. But because of the way that my business works and the whole social growth and stuff, we get so many inquiries, and that was how this whole thing was born. Because we was getting inquiries from everywhere. I was thinking, I'm not letting all these leads just disappear. I want all these. So we're servicing them, which ain't sustainable. So we built the partner network, and then we spent the last 2 years building this partner network. And then now kind of everything's easing back up. People are now, because some projects went a little bit dead. You know, the construction industry is like freely flowing again now. People, like 2022 hit, and it was like, right, bang, go. Because people were hanging on to the money a little bit throughout COVID. I mean, the big spenders, you know, we're dealing with footballers, celebrities, they ain't bothered where the next paycheck's coming from. You know, so they were still spending throughout the pandemic. Like, no tomorrow. We were like getting clients, even though we were in lockdown, that were like, I want work done at my house next week. Like, we can't. I don't care. Come to my house next week. Like, we had that kind of level of stuff with our clients. But then now we're easing out, everybody's freeing up. But because everybody's freeing up, and because I've done all this groundwork over the last 2 years, now we've got guys everywhere. And for me to like see the partners then doing, me 4 years ago, like desperate to kind of work on these big fancy jobs and work on these kind of projects. And now we've got guys that were paying good money, doing £250,000 jobs in like all over the country. Cam, if you just go on there, just put in a location, change the search radius to 500 miles. Oh, yeah. Just click zoom in, just click it one tap, it pulls in a touch. There. That is literally the UK and where we've got partners.
Nice.
So literally,
So they would then, so you'd subcontract to them. They would subcontract to you.
Right. So basically, we do the design.
Yeah.
So the design is, we get the inquiry because of all our marketing. Because of all the stuff we do on social media, because of those over there, basically. So we then do stuff on socials. Because we've then done the stuff on the socials, that's then got a wide reach. Because that's then got a wide reach and we get inquiries everywhere. Because what we do is good. And because how we believe in it is good, you know? I'm not just looking at shifting boxes.
No.
Like, I want to deliver solutions that people are interacting with every day and that they're loving the houses, and then tell all the friends around dinner how good what we've done for them is. You know, and getting that across with partners. And we will get a bit of traction and friction with our partners because we won't work with everybody that comes from our training academy. Like, these guys are coming on training and, you know, they think they're on training. They're trying to get, the training ain't even about the training. The training is about, you're with me for a week. Can I see me working with you? Do I feel you're the right person to expand what we do? You know, we're franchising without franchising. So we regain 100% control. We are ultimately pricing the jobs. You know, so we'll cost the jobs because we know how to deliver that sales journey. And that's something we've spent a fortune on over the last 12 months, is that from somebody picking up the phone or sending an email or sending an Instagram DM, how are they looked after from that very first interaction? Are they getting followed up with in appropriate time?
It's an experience.
You know, they're not, again, unfortunately, you have to with that kind of, not without making a number, because I have to become a number to do that, but you're looking after them properly, you know, and not just because you have to, because ultimately, because building my team with people that care around that. So because we then mature it properly, the client then moves forward with the job. We then have a design team that will provide drawings, documentation for these partners of ours to install these complex systems with our back-end support.
Right.
So that's the way we do things, and it's it's literally working very, very well for us. So what about your partners, Matt? And what's your plan with growing those over the next 12 months?
Partners. So, so we've got a great ecosystem of partners globally. In the UK, our partners are people like proactive accountancy firms, business advisory firms, business coaches, academies like yourself. Basically, anyone that has a client that's in a hole or in a problem that lives in our vertical that needs a piece of software. So our team are engaging with these potential partners. Think of the ecosystem of Xero. Think of the ecosystem of QuickBooks, like you use in Sage. These partners need to know about simPRO because, again, we're in front of entrepreneurial businesses that need a system. So they typically turn to a business advisor, or they're influenced or sponsored. And then we have a separate team that will engage with that partner, talk about the benefits of being a simPRO partner. So if they're wanting to be industry specific, can have a specialism, definitely for simPRO, because we are laser focused on that niche market. So again, I know we keep talking about big year this year. It is a big year this year. The success of the partner program has been proven. We're just scaling it out. We're just making it bigger. Again, it's not complicated. It's, we've got some really good partners that we engage with daily. Some of them we engage with them monthly, some of them yearly. There's no obligation to be a partner for simPRO. It's just, again, recognizing that specialism. Those businesses, like you mentioned years ago before simPRO, that's typically the kind of clients they have. And it's our job to educate that partner about who simPRO is, who we work with. That value add is then that introduction that we do.
Yeah. I mean, that's easy for me because I've been the journey. I've been through it all. So when I've got guys that, again, because we've got the training stuff, or even before we even had the training stuff, that's how I then developed the idea of it. I've got a lot of people who follow us on social media who look up to or are inspired by what I'm trying to do, which again is how we built that. But then when I've got guys coming in saying, because it is a common complaint in trade, it's literally is the worst thing. Like, how do you run your job? How do you actually physically do the jobs? Plus do all the back-end stuff, plus do all your admin efficiently, without having to use 10 apps, without having to find which notebook you've written something down in, with all that kind of stuff, and tie it together.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to sit down and say to them, go down this route. But for the guys that then reach out to me and want to go through it, I can spend all the time in the world explaining it to it, but necessarily how I use it might not always be how they use it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it might be slightly different. So at which point, what I suppose I'm leading at is the beauty of the relationship that I've got with you and some of the other, global trainers, if you like, or initial contacts, is that somebody reached out to me and was like, "Oh, Rich, what's that simPRO like? Like, I can show you."
Yeah.
But Matt's probably a better person to show you.
Yeah, we triage that, and we handle any referral, very sensitively. We don't ram the product down their throat if it's an introduction. We don't
need to.
It's very much, this is what life could look like with our software in your business. Now, if you take that, that's fantastic. Now, the majority of people that you refer to us, they take it because, again, they can refer back to you and your experience, and that's our job. Our job is to kind of show the products, identify if it's a good fit for them firstly. And then should they take that product, then their journey begins with simPRO in their business. So, as I say, the webinars we've done with you in the past have been really successful.
I think if it is, I'm going to quote you on it. Ours was the highest viewed or the highest members on the webinar.
It was.
Done.
Yeah,
simPRO done.
it was. And I think that just showed the content, the approach, the way you promoted it, the way our fantastic marketing team promoted it. It was different. It wasn't just another product led. It was a conversational piece to show this is a piece of software written for your industry. Would you like to see it? And that's what
how it is, because literally I don't ever want to force, even in the stuff I do, is force anything down you. This is what it is. It's good. It's good. This is how I use it. If you want to use it, great. If you don't use it, great. I like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, us doing the podcast, we've made it a little bit easier for people getting in touch. I mean, people can message us, but saving those messages getting lost, or Craig deleting them, or something like that. What we've done is we're actually in the comments of this video, there's going to be a little form. So people can fill that in, and then you or one of your team will reach out to them. So, did you pull that up, Cam?
Yeah, so we want to look after your followers and the guys who have seen your work.
I can't use the word, but because we do want to look after our followers and people that follow us, you will get looked after. I can't say the word how you'll get looked after. You will get looked after, wink, 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 because you're one of our followers. Not with a discount.
There are preferential rates. Yeah. As part of this relationship is we want to pass that on to the people that you're referring to us. So through the form and through the landing page, simply as putting details in, telephone number.
And then you pick up the phone and ring them.
Absolutely. And then we can set up an introduction to the software, typically online or on site, depending where they are.
Do like 30-minute chat, quick chats. Do you know what the most ironic thing is about that? I don't actually get that discount. I still pay full price. I don't even get those preferential rates.
Yeah, good like that.
That's smart business.
That's it. We have feed it on.
But it's building an ecosystem of your followers and people in your industry.
For me, it's that saying it's good for GAN. For
positive
me,
activity.
In terms of my partners, especially my direct partner network that we have in the UK, if they're using simPRO, it's amazing for us because I can just feed stuff back between it.
Yeah.
It's great. But then obviously our social stuff, we've got a wider reach. So, but this isn't just people in the UK, is it? So this is literally, somebody could come through this anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah. New Zealand, Australia, the States, Colorado.
Literally all that we get. We have most of our following, because we've got online training academy as well. America. Like America, we are massive in America. Like people that follow us. And it's been the same with the whole onboarding stuff, isn't it? For the American stuff. So no, awesome. Right, chaps. Well, I think we've been chatting for a while longer than we thought we would today. And it's been good. It's been good tonight.
Thanks, Rich.
Meet you both. We actually managed to follow this very well. We knew it was when it's both over. But boys, thank you very much.
Thanks for having
Cheers.
us.
No,
Thanks for setting it up. Appreciate
you.
you having us on.
No, it's all right. And obviously look forward to many more years working with simPRO
100%.
on both sides of things. Top man. Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Rich.
you. Thank you.